Hello and welcome back to Cop Noise TV. A little bit weird this week because Liverpool don't have a midweek game, which is unusual given this time of the season, but we're out of the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup's a week or something away, Champions League's yet to start, so we've got a nice little break, and I'm sure the players, the manager, the coaching staff will be more than happy to accept this little mid-season break, if you like. So I thought, what better way to kind of deal with this mid-season break than an extra time special? And what I want to do, given that we've just come out of the January transfer window, we all know Liverpool didn't really do that much business, which is going to affect this season. I want to look ahead to next season, and should we be worried as Liverpool fans? And what I mean by that is, we obviously made wholesale changes in the summer just gone. We brought in quite a lot of players, 4 or 5, Frimpong, Kerkez, Wirtz, Ekitike, Isak. So yeah, quite a few changes was made in the Liverpool squad, not to mention all those players that I won't go into because I'll probably forget some. But we lost a lot of players in the summer as well, so the squad was very much different to the title-winning team, or the title-winning squad, should I say, that Liverpool went on and used last season. So let's have a look at the team. I'm going to predict the team, what I think Liverpool will move into next season with. So what I've done, I'm going to break this down, I'm going to put on the screen as well, basically all the players that I think Liverpool is pretty much guaranteed for next season. So straight away, we've got Alisson Becker in goal. I don't see a world, fair enough, we signed George Mamidashvili, but as long as Alisson Becker is at the club, he's going to be the #1 goalkeeper for Liverpool. I have no doubts about that, and that's the way it should be, because Alisson Becker is one of the best goalkeepers in the world and has been now for a hell of a long time, so why would Liverpool change this? At right back, and listen, it's important to point out in this that I've used names on screen now, but let's not get precious and bogged down into, say for example, I've put Jeremy Frimpong in at right back. It could be Conor Bradley, it could be Jeremy Frimpong, but you get what I'm trying to say. Let's just basically, the players from this season, let's put it into a team, what I think is going to be used next season. So, right back, Jeremy Frimpong and or Conor Bradley. Centre half, I think it's fair to say that Ibou Konate is not going to sign a new contract for Liverpool. I will say this, that his form this season has been admirable as he's came back from the sad and unfortunate passing of his dad. I think he's been absolutely brilliant. I think he's been one of Liverpool's best players, and if he can recreate this form right through to the end of the season, he's going to be a loss for Liverpool. It really, really is, but if he was going to stay, I think he'd have signed a contract by now. I think you'll all agree that, so therefore I've come to the conclusion and I've conceded that we're going to lose Ibou Konate at the end of the season. He's going to go on a free. Best of luck if he does do that. He will be missed. But we've signed a centre-half. We signed a centre-half in January, albeit he's not coming to the club until next season. Jeremy Jacquet is the guy who we've signed. So personally, I think he is going to go straight into the first team with Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk obviously signed a 2-year extension to his current deal last season, keeping him at the club this season and next season. And I think Liverpool have no plans on moving Virgil van Dijk on in the summer, if I'm honest. He's one of the best centre-halves in the league. He has shown signs of inconsistency this season, I will say that. But listen, you name me a Liverpool player this season that has been consistent throughout. There's not that many. Maybe Dominic Szoboszlai, Hugo Ekitike potentially, but you know what I'm trying to get at. Although Virgil van Dijk has shown individual errors, Bournemouth being one away quite recently, I still think Virgil van Dijk is an integral cog in this Liverpool team. So therefore, I don't see a world in which Virgil van Dijk is not in the starting lineup week in, week out in the biggest games for Liverpool next season. So Virgil van Dijk for me will continue to be the Liverpool captain next season. And then left back, I don't think anyone has any arguments in this. Milos Kerkez, he signed last summer, and I think he's shown signs now that he's only getting better and better and better. He's getting more trust with his teammates. The performances of late compared to the beginning of the season are chalk and cheese. So the left back for me is absolutely signed, sealed, delivered. No issues there. And let's hope as well that Andy Robertson potentially can sign an extension to his deal and we can keep Andy Robertson at the club, because I think, you know, we saw in the Sunderland game quite recently that Robbo has still got a lot to give to this squad, to the club. He's vice captain. He's one of the integral parts in the senior leadership team within that dressing room. So for me, keeping Andy Robertson in the club is a no-brainer. And if Liverpool can sort that out and get a contract extension for a year, that'd be really, really good business. Albeit, if that fails, Kostas Tsimikas is still a Liverpool player, albeit, yes, he is on loan at the moment at Roma, but he's still under contract at Liverpool, so therefore, if Robbo moves on, do we keep Kostas for a season as backup? Potentially, but ultimately, the left back is sorted in terms of who will play in the first team week in, week out, and also the backup. So again, important, let's not get bogged down in systems, but I've added just a little bit of a guess on what I think Liverpool will play moving into next season, and one place and one player in particular that I guarantee I will put my mortgage on is going to start week in, week out for Liverpool is Dominic Szoboszlai. This guy is just going from strength to strength at the moment. He's had his best, arguably his best season for Liverpool. I don't think it's arguably. He's had his best season for Liverpool. He's been a maverick this season. He's put Liverpool on his back sometimes this season, and he's been one of the most consistent, if not the consistent performer in this team. Let's be honest, Liverpool have struggled at points this season, and Szoboszlai has put in performances week in, week out, which merits him basically building a team around him, if you like, because we've heard the rumours that Szoboszlai could be a future Liverpool captain, and I'm down for that. I am all in for Dominic Szoboszlai, long-term future being at Liverpool. Right, let's move on to another next position, which I think is pretty much boxed off, and that is, I'm classing it as the attacking midfielder, the number 10, whatever you want to frame it as, but ultimately the star boy himself, the guy that I absolutely love going to Anfield week in, week out to watch, and that is Florian Wirtz. This guy is, the ceiling that he has is just unbelievable. It's phenomenal. I love watching him. He glides across the pitch. He's so silky. He seems kind of like light years ahead of everyone else on the pitch, and I cannot say enough good things about this guy. Even when he was struggling at the beginning of the season, I could see the talent, I could see the potential, and I could see what he was trying to do, and the fact that he's building relationships. The players around him know where he's going to be, they know what he can do, they know where they need to be to receive a pass from him. He's just unbelievable, and Liverpool will, I have no doubt, will build a team around Florian Wirtz and Dominic Szoboszlai in the middle of the park. And then the last position, which I think is pretty much locked off for Liverpool moving into next season, is the number 9. The top of the pyramid, the striker. I've put Alexander Isak in there. We've got obviously Hugo Ekitike to throw in the hat as well, but Isak is £125 million signing. When they're both fit, when they're both firing, he's going to be the guy. I think we can all agree on that. He will be the guy, regardless of how good Hugo Ekitike has been this season, potentially how good he is next season. Isak's the man. He's going to be the man. So therefore, he's going to spearhead Liverpool's attacks. So, with that being said, you can clearly see here that there is gaps, albeit you can also see there's a spine. And this excites me. And I said at the beginning of the show, should we be worried about next season? Maybe. We've got a few signings, I think we can all agree that some of the fact that we signed a lot of players this summer didn't help us moving into this season, giving the players time to gel. But looking at that's still there. You can see Liverpool have a spine. Alisson, Van Dijk, Szoboszlai, Wirtz, Isak. That is Liverpool's spine throughout the team, and years and years and years of proof has said, many ex-players have gone and said that it's important that teams have a solid spine, and Liverpool quite clearly do have a solid spine to work with. So as much as there is areas of improvement going into next season, it's exciting to see that there's a solid spine in there moving into next season. So let's have a look at the gaps which I think potentially may or may not need plugging moving in to next season. So as you can see from the still image that I've got up on the screen next to me, there's 3 positions in question for me, and we'll run down them position by position, but obviously I've highlighted them in a different colour so it's easy to see. But for me, 3 areas in question. So first one is the number 6, the defensive midfielder, if you like, the double pivot. I don't know, whatever you want to call it, but yeah. Liverpool potentially could improve that. And then you've got wide attacking left and wide attacking right. And as I say, we'll go through now and we'll break them down position by position and see potentially what Liverpool either could use within their ranks already in terms of players on the books, or do they look to improve this position. So we'll start with the number 6. So Liverpool's options. Ryan Gravenberch, he's the guy who pretty much plays week in, week out as the number 6 for Liverpool. And I think it's worth mentioning, a special mention to what Gravenberch did last season. Because let's go back to, excuse me, when Gravenberch first came into the club, Jurgen Klopp bought Ryan Gravenberch as a number 8, if you like, a box-to-box midfielder, someone who's kind of brings stamina, brings legs, brings an engine, brings a bit of flair, and gets up and down the pitch. And Liverpool obviously identified this position in 2025 as a position where they needed to strengthen. And if you remember rightly, Liverpool went for Martin Zubimendi, pretty much had Martin Zubimendi in the door. He pulled the plug at the final hour. Fair enough. So Arne Slot had to figure something out at the beginning of last season. He had to figure out what we were going to do, because we had basically Wataru Endo, and that was it. As an out-and-out 6, a defensive midfielder. So Arne Slot convinced Ryan Gravenberch to do that job, and what a job he did for us. He played a pivotal part. He pretty much played week in, week out, and he was critical to Liverpool going on and lifting the Premier League title that season. Worth pointing out, Ryan Gravenberch is only still 23-year-old. So would I be looking to move Ryan Gravenberch on? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. For me, Ryan Gravenberch is integral to this squad. And I say squad because, can Liverpool improve? We'll get to that once we've run through the rest of the options. But yeah, I absolutely not would be looking to move Ryan Gravenberch on. With the amount of football Liverpool play season in, season out, he's going to get a lot of game time. The other option that Liverpool potentially have within their ranks already is Alexis Mac Allister. Now, similar to Gravenberch, Mac Allister was unbelievable last season, but he played almost as an 8, if you like. He was definitely more attacking last season than he was previously. Now, I don't think it's unfair to say that Mac Allister has not hit the heights this season as he did last. He's very much been playing under par. But the manager clearly fancies him. Arne Slot clearly likes Alexis Mac Allister in his starting 11 as much as he can, because he plays him pretty much all the time. There's no doubting that Alexis Mac Allister is a top player. He's a World Cup winner, and you don't get those sorts of accolades by being an average player. But Mac Allister's not a 6. He's not a defensive midfielder. Yes, he gets stuck in, but when you describe the 6, the defensive midfielder, if you like, you look at obviously Makelele from years gone by. You look at Rodri quite recently, and Liverpool's last 6. You dare say you're looking at Fabinho. Fabinho was he was stamina. He was engine. He was gritty. He was gnarly. He was that defensive shield, if you like. That just, if the defenders cleared a ball out of their box, he was the first one to pick it up. And if he wasn't, he was nipping away at the opposition's heels, winning the ball back up high. And unfortunately, Alexis McAllister just isn't that. He doesn't have the physicality that the likes of Fabinho or Rodri has, and he definitely doesn't have the pace. We've seen it this season so many times. Alexis McAllister has been kind of run off the back of, and I think that's why Slot prefers McAllister higher up the field, because if teams are breaking, Gravenberch has the legs, he has the speed, he has the stamina to kind of chase down attackers. Alexis McAllister does not have that quality, unfortunately. As I said, we bought Endo as a bit of a stopgap, but I think it's fair to say McAllister is not a number 6 out and out. Now, if what I've read is correct, McAllister's contract is due to expire in June 2027, so come the end of the season, he's entering his last year. So this is quite a critical part of McAllister's time at Liverpool, if you like, because if Liverpool are going to renew his contract, you'd like to think that discussions are happening, because we don't want to be getting in positions like we had with Van Dijk, Salah and Trent last season. We want to be addressing these things as soon as possible. McAllister's only 26, so he's got plenty of game time left. Would I be looking to move Alexis McAllister on? It depends, and I'll kind of circle back to this, because if Liverpool do identify the 6 as an area of the field that needs improving, and I think they will do, because we've seen it before, whereas Jurgen Klopp wanted someone in, we ended up signing Endo as a stopgap. Arne Slot wanted someone in, he wanted Zubamendi. We didn't end up getting Zubamendi, so therefore we kind of pulled Ryan Gravenberch to fill that gap. So that gap to me has never been filled since Fabinho has left the club. So I don't see a reason, or I don't see a world in which Liverpool still don't need a 6. So if selling a fit, a healthy, a young Alexis McAllister, who I think Liverpool bought for, was it £55 million off Brighton? He had a release clause. I dare say that Alexis McAllister now would draw 60, 70 million in the market. If Liverpool can get circa to 60 million for Alexis McAllister to fund an out-and-out defensive midfielder, would I be looking at that as an option? I think I would, given Ryan Gravenberch is 23, McAllister's 26. Do I think that Gravenberch has got more to offer than McAllister? I probably do. So therefore, there's potentially something for the club to ponder on with that one. It's also worth mentioning the Curtis Jones for this. Although I don't see Curtis Jones as a contender for the number 6. I mentioned him because he's pretty much played every single position apart from the goalkeeper this season. But do I think that Curtis Jones has got the physicality or... Well, the attributes, yes I do. I just think he's lacking a bit of physicality. Anyone who watches my channel will know that I'm a massive fan of Curtis Jones. I think he's one of our best ball-retaining midfielders. I think he's confident. You saw it when he came on against Sunderland the other day, where he's facing his own goal and he's doing little Cruyff turns and stuff like that. So for me, all the rumours about potentially Curtis Jones leaving in January, Tottenham and Inter Milan were linked. For me personally, we need to keep Curtis Jones. Number 1, as I say, I think in terms of ball-playing midfielders, he's one of the best we've got. He's not on a level with Florian Wirtz, but he's definitely up there for me. I think him keeping hold of the ball is one of his biggest attributes, and fans criticise him for that. And I don't know why, because he's a midfielder. Sometimes we need that. But for me, he just lacks a little bit of physicality, and I would not consider him as a contender for the number 6 slot. So I think personally, Liverpool need to look at this as an area still to strengthen. Moving on to the forward line, let's start with the attacking wide left. At the moment, we've got pretty much, say one option, because that's doing Rio Wingamore a bit of an injustice, but we've basically got 1.5 options, if you like. Cody Gakpo. Now, for many supporters, Cody Gakpo has cut a very frustrating figure this season. Personally, I think some of the criticism is a little bit over the top, if you like. And what do fans get frustrated with Gakpo for? The fact that He's a one-trick pony, if you want to call it that. I can't think of a better word really, but people think he's a one-trick pony. He gets the ball wide left, he kind of goes at his man, cuts inside, he gets a blocked shot off, or he puts a poor ball into the box. Now for me, I don't mind. Obviously, yes, do I wish that he'd score more goals or put better balls in more? Absolutely, but if you'll remember, Iron Robin created a career out of this. And I'm not saying that Cody Gakpo is on Iron Robin's level, so before you kind of jump at me in the comments, I'm not saying that. But if Cody Gakpo can improve on his output, there's nothing to say that what he's doing is bad. Because, as I say, Iron Robin made a career out of being a left footer on the opposite flank. He kind of run at his man, he cut inside, he used to bend the ball in the far corner all the time, and no one used to criticise him. Everyone, arguably, I would say, classes him as a world-class player, or was a world-class player. But I think one thing, or one vital piece of information comparing Gakpo of last season to this season, because looking at the difference, because Gakpo last season was a key player, and I think it was the fact that he had competition. He had direct competition from one Luis Diaz. Now, I'm certain that, I am certain the manager did not want to lose Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz wanted out of Liverpool, and I think Luis Diaz potentially wanted out of Liverpool for maybe a couple of seasons, but, you know, unfortunately, we lost him. We've never really replaced him. And I think given the fact that Diaz and Gakpo kind of pushed each other, they both probably had their best seasons for Liverpool together, you know, and that's a credit to them both, because they were fighting for one place. Although I know Diaz sometimes played the false nine, but they was pushing each other week in, week out for that left wing spot. And as I say, for me personally, they both had their best spells in a Liverpool shirt last season. Now I think looking at last season, I wanted to look at Gakpo's output compared to this point this season. So let me get my dates right now. 2020, the start of the 2024-2025 season up to the 18th of Feb. Because this is what we're on now, recording this video. So last season, Cody Gakpo in all comps had 18 goals, 6 assists. That was in 49 appearances. This season, up to this point right now, comparing like for like, Cody Gakpo has got 7 goals, 4 assists. So the drop off in goals is pretty big. Now I think there's a couple of factors for this, and I think it's important to point out that 34 appearances. So last season at this point, Gakpo had done 49 appearances. This season, 34. But still, the output, or the drop off in Gakpo's output, is pretty big in terms of goal involvement, and it's gone down by nearly 0.2 compared to the seasons. And I also think one thing that's a big part in this is Mohamed Salah. So Mohamed Salah last season, his output was crazy when it comes to goals and assists. Mohamed Salah would guarantee you every game a goal or an assist. And a lot of his assists was balls into the box from wide right. And if the striker wasn't picking them up, who was picking them up on the back stick? Cody Gakpo. Cody Gakpo thrived on Mo Salah's creativity last season. So the fact that Salah's creativity has decreased, it has decreased this season. I think Gakpo's been a victim of that. But still, can Cody Gakpo do better in terms of output? Absolutely. Yes, I think he can. Yes, I think he can. And like I say, the output in terms of goal involvements that he's given has dropped off. Although it's not massive, he doesn't have that top-class replacement to step in his shoes if he has a bad performance, like he did with Luis Diaz last season. This season, we're relying on a 17-year-old Rio YNWA, which Rio's got the talent, he's got the skill, but is he ready for the Premier League? Is he ready for the title charge? Is he ready for the Champions League? It remains to be seen. I don't know. Personally, he's got a little bit of a way to go, but if YNWA's not coming on there, then you're looking at the likes of pulling Florian Wirtz from the middle of the park to wide left, and then we lose his output, in his creativity in the middle of the park, which I'm not a fan of. So I think Cody Gakpo needs competition. We need to strengthen on that wide left. Rio YNWA obviously is there, and I don't want to block the pathway for Rio YNWA, so you need to weigh up, is YNWA going to be the understudy? Because if he is, he needs more game time. They need to play him a little bit more. Or is it the fact that, does he need to go out on loan? You keep Gakpo and you bring someone else in? Or can Hugo Ekitike do a job out there? Personally, I won't like to do that. I think Ekitike is better as an out-and-out 9. He's shown that this season with his output. So therefore, I think having him and Isak as the choice for the number 9 shirt is perfect. You know, having 2 strikers fighting for that shirt, to me, makes complete sense. So, an area where Liverpool need to look at this season, next season, this summer, is definitely the wide attacking left. And then the last position which I think potentially could need addressing by Liverpool in the summer is the attacking wide right position. Now, as we all know, this position has not been an issue now for the best part of 8 or 9 years, because we've had one of the Premier League's all-time greats playing there in Mo Salah. I'm not going to go through all Mo Salah's stats in terms of goals and assists, because quite frankly, I would be doing this video for the next week. His figures, his stats, his numbers are ridiculous, and that's the reason why we call him the Egyptian King. That's the reason why he's probably going to go down as one of Liverpool's greatest ever players, and the reason why he's going to go down as one of the Premier League's all-time greats, because he is just ridiculous. He is. Now, the key word there, the key word is, has he been ridiculous or is he still ridiculous? That's what I should have said. Has been. And the question is, can Mo Salah still do it? Has he still got the form that basically spearheaded Liverpool to their 20th league title? Because last season, he was a fucking joke. He was an absolute joke. He was a phenomenon. Now, I don't know this. This season, obviously, Mo Salah has dropped off ridiculously. His output is not there compared to last season and many seasons gone by. We all know Salah's only got 1 year left on his contract. So, is there potential that Liverpool cash in on Mo Salah? We all know the rumours have been there for many years now with Salah linking him to Saudi Arabia. And you couldn't argue, you couldn't complain if Mo Salah did choose to kind of go and play the next 2 or 3 years, similar to Cristiano Ronaldo, in Saudi Arabia, getting a fuck ton of money and basically finishing his playing career, scoring a shitload of goals in a, I'm saying easy league. Obviously, I don't play football at the high standards, but you know what I'm trying to say. It's not the Premier League. Mo Salah's an absolute animal physically. He's unbelievable. He takes care of himself. You can see in his physique, he's similar to Cristiano Ronaldo. The guy is absolutely fucking ripped. So I would not be surprised if Mo Salah continues to play up to his 40s, similar to Cristiano Ronaldo. And I dare say he could probably do that in the Saudi Pro League. So with that being said, could this be the summer, given the fact that Salah's only got 1 year left on his contract at the end of the season? Could this be the summer that Liverpool cash in on Mo Salah? Personally, I think Liverpool probably could still demand circa to 60-70 million quid for a fit and firing Mo Salah. I don't think that is asking a lot, and especially if you're looking at the likes of selling him to Saudi Arabia. So this isn't to say though that Mo Salah can still have a say in this. Mo Salah, for me personally, is still in charge of his own destiny at Liverpool, similar to Virgil van Dijk. Obviously they both got contract extensions at the same time, and if Mo Salah goes on to have a stellar part at the end of this season, if he gets Liverpool into the Champions League, if he shows form similar to what performance he put in at Brighton at the weekend, I have no doubt that Liverpool could potentially think, well, maybe we do give him another year. If he can prove that he's still got it, he can contribute, his attitude is going to be right, he can potentially get used to the fact that he's not going to play 90 minutes every single week? Could Liverpool be better keeping Mo Salah in their ranks? Yes, absolutely yes. It depends on Salah though. It depends on his performances from now till the end of the season for me. If Salah continues his kind of not so great form from the majority of this season through to the end of the season, I think Liverpool roll out the red carpet in the summer and they give Salah a farewell, goodbye, Egyptian King style like he deserves. If he starts putting in performances, as I say, at the weekend against Brighton, yeah, absolutely, I'm all down for Liverpool keeping Mo Salah on the books. And the reason why I say this is because you look at the competition on the right wing, there isn't any. There literally isn't any, because Mo Salah is at that position locked off now for years. And I dare say the only competition that is currently in the Liverpool squad for that right hand side, and I feel bad for Salah calling it competition, and I feel bad for the guy that I'm going to mention, but it's Federico Chiesa. But we all know the manager does not fancy him. The manager's not having Chiesa at all. Chiesa's going to leave the club this summer. Liverpool may get a small transfer fee, maybe, I don't know, 6-7 million quid for him. I think we only paid 13, something like that. So Liverpool could get a bit of a return on Chiesa, but even if they keep Salah, I still think Liverpool need to look at this area of the pitch. And this is what concerns me more than anything, because Liverpool know they need the number 6. But in terms of that forward line, if Liverpool are going to look at strengthening in both areas, both wide areas, that's a little bit of a concern, because then you're having to gel 2 new players into kind of one area of the pitch. You're not spreading it out throughout the team. It's in one area, and it's in the main area of the pitch. It's in that attacking third where Liverpool need output. So it remains to be seen what Liverpool do. I personally think Liverpool need 3 signings in the summer: a number 6, a defensive central midfielder, easy for me to say, a wide attacking left and a wide attacking right. And I think they need players that are not squad players. They need players that are going to come straight into the side. And we all know we was linked with Semenyo in January. He went to Man City. I think he was potentially going to be the replacement for Mo Salah. So I'm sure that Liverpool will be doing their research, their homework right now, as I speak right now, in terms of those wide positions. Let me know in the comments what you think, guys, and thanks for watching the video. If you've not done already, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. I'll catch you in a bit.